Hello and welcome, everyone. We are back with yet an amazing show right on Tuesday at 9 p.m. The Integrated Life Show with Sagar Amlani and Bharti Nayak. So, welcome everyone, and wherever you're joining us from, good day, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. So, I'm sure you would have enjoyed all our earlier shows, and now you would have identified what is important for you. And if you haven't, Bharti will give you a good recap of what we covered in the last episode. Over to you, Bharti.
And it is rightly said when you don't take care of your important task today or now, they become urgent tomorrow. What we discussed in the last episode was how every drop that you pour in the bucket is important. Every step, every decision is important that will take you forward in your life, that will help you to achieve the integrated life that you want to achieve. But without productive mindset, you won't know which task is important. Without proactive approach, you need to understand that if you want to pour the every drop in the bucket, that's the proactive approach that I need to do this every single day. So I will plan, I'll prepare, I'll do everything that's possible to do it. And when you have that productive mindset, it will help you to understand in which bucket you need to put that drop every single day. So we spoke about many stories and examples which were related to how being important of all the areas that we have in our life takes care of how we want to have a sense of fulfillment, how we want to lead a happy, fulfilled life, and having a sense of gratitude with us. That's what it matters, that's what it takes to be the integrated life that we want to be. So, this is where we both are today with this episode, that what Sagar is going to talk about, and he will share what the episode is about. Yes, Sagar.
Brilliant. And while we share where we are talking about and what are we going to talk about, why don't you share where have you joined us from? And if you have attended any of our previous episodes, what is your feedback? And if you have enjoyed our checklist like many others who are enjoying the simple checklist, but yet very effective, remember, friends, complex things are made to look bigger. You can only live an integrated life when you make it simple. And that's what we've done in our checklist. We have made it so simple that you don't have to use too much of your brain, think complex situation and answer. Life is simple, live it simple, and enjoy the integrated life. Now, let's get back to the topic. Today's topic, what we are talking about, is being judicious. Judicious is also very synonymous with judgment. It is also very close to judicial custody. And it might be confusing. Why are we talking about a law or a thing related to law when it comes to judicious? But my dear friend, judicious is very important when we want to live an integrated life, because you not only need a proactive approach to be judicious, but you also need to have a productive mindset to act judicious. So let me give you a very simple example before we dwell into the topic further. We all drive an automotive vehicle, and if we don't drive, we always have either sat in an automotive vehicle, either in the back seat or in the front seat, or with friends or anyone. So I'm sure every one of us has experienced a four-wheeler. If not, I'm sure you will do very soon in your life. Providing a seat belt in the car is a proactive, judicious planning, decision making by the designers, by the safety engineers. Giving the beep in the dashboard as a part of Kaizen is again a judicious decision taken by the car company for your safety. But wearing that seat belt for your own safety, and not just because someone is watching, someone is going to catch you, or there are rules to follow. Wearing a seat belt for your own safety, my dear friends, is productive mindset with judicious safety measures. What is judicious? I'm sure you would have understood it now. Judicious is well calculated, good judgment. Remember, wearing a seatbelt is your productive mindset. Giving a seatbelt in the car is a proactive approach by the automotive company. So think about it and let me know what are your thoughts on being judicious and what are the areas that you can be judicious in your life. Well, while you think about it, we will share more about it. What say, Bharti?
Yes, definitely. And it is more about being mindful, being completely understanding what the situation is, and judicially taking that decision, taking that step, taking that action which is required that will take you to towards your integrated life. And that's why today's episode is completely focused on how to be judicious to lead that integrated life. Now, only by being that judicious may not help. But if you have that proactive approach, you have that productive mindset, that is going to make the difference for you. Like, let's take an example of Sadhguru's campaigns. Now, we all have been talking about global warming, and there have been so many discussions and summits that have been happening about global warming, and we all are concerned about our Mother Earth. What Sadhguru's campaigns talk about is taking care, saving the water. And that's why he started the campaign for Save the Rivers, the Rally for Rivers. And then he again took another campaign, Save Soil, explained in detail how important this soil is for us. Now, what these campaigns are actually helping us, they are actually helping us to be very proactive in our approach, that when we are thinking about water, it's a limited resource. When we're thinking about soil, it's a limited resource. Are we judicially taking care and using these resources? Do we have that productive mindset to really utilize these resources that we may perceive its abundance in our on the earth? It's not. It's absolutely limited. And these campaigns really help us to evoke, to awaken us that these resources that we have with us, we need to really take care. And that's where the proactive approach and the productive mindset comes into picture when we are judicially taking those decisions and taking those actions. Yes, Agar.
Brilliant, Bharti. And now that is a productive mindset as well in play. But what you said is absolutely right. Being proactive about understanding, about being aware about the limited resources or the natural resources which are very, very important and currently are depleting. Let us understand, we all talk about ozone, we all talk about global warming, we all talk about that. And we also started becoming proactive by taking certain measures like, saving electricity or reducing the carbon emissions or doing many such things. Are we really productive mindset, or are we actually having a productive mindset towards it? My answer is no, because there are so many companies which are running AC even in the winters. There are so many companies who are adding ACs. There are so many families who are adding ACs every day in, day out. It's not about adding AC or not buying an AC. Even I have an AC in my house. That's not bad. Using them judiciously with a productive mindset that you only use it to a certain temperature of 27, 26, and ensuring that you're contributing in the right direction, that is being judicious. Now, having said that, why are we talking about Sadhguru's Save Soil campaign? That's a proactive approach that he has started now. But what he is asking us to act is being productive mindset. So remember, what happens in the mind, or what happens during the design, or what happens off the field is proactive. Right, Bharti? But when you want to act and when you want to take action, you need a productive mindset. And judicious is required at both the stages. Like Bharti said, you have to be very, very judicious about utilizing those resources, being aware of those resources, but Why are we having that? Because of the focused goal that we want the next generation to have a healthy life, and that is a productive mindset. Having said that, why would or how would being judicious help us to live an integrated life? Now, that question, let us start from the most important point, and that is an organization. Now, an organization is built on human resources, teams, people, isn't it? So, why don't we delve more into that angle of judicious and how being judicious in the organization would help? What do you think, Bharti?
Absolutely. In fact, organizations' growth and the success and the way they want to progress, it all depends on how much proactive in their approach they are and whether they have that productive mindset to move ahead. Let me give you an example. So, when I was working with Tata Consultancy Services, it's been many years before when I was working with them. I remember their tagline, not exactly the word by word, but what I remember is they would always say that we appraise the performance of our team, of our members, of our employees, and we promote the potential. What it clearly mentioned as a policy that if you're performing fantastic, if you have achieved 100% target or maybe more than that, we appraise you for that, for giving that kind of efforts and reaching your target, completing the goals that are assigned to you every year. And that's why you're being appraised, you're being recognized, and also given that kind of uh, appraisal. What we look for in promoting somebody, because when you promote somebody, there are more responsibilities that come in, the leadership qualities, the managerial, the management qualities, the team building, the communication. There are so many skills that come into play, and it is not necessary that who has performed fantastic may be a good leader. So when you are promoting a potential, you look for your key members, you look for your team members and identify who could be the best possible manager and a leader who can lead the team and take the organization's goals to the next level, who can ensure that the team is binded together and working towards one single focused goal. Now, when I look back to that policy, it reflects a beautiful example of how much proactive this organization has been so far, where they are always recognizing the appraising the performance of a member, at the same time also continuously identifying the potential that people have of being a leader, of being a manager, of having a good communication skills or team building skills, and promoting that potential, giving that kind of opportunity to them so that they can lead the team or lead the department. And that's what I would say, that having that proactive approach in that organization leads to the productive mindset, because when you are productive in your mind, you will take care of these kind of policies and you will ensure that they are implemented. You will ensure that these policies are up to the level where the potential is being identified and given the opportunity. Yes, Sagar.
Absolutely, bang on. Even even Karnam here says human resource is the biggest asset in the world. Yes, because it contains humans, and rather than calling it as human resource, let's respect it as human capital. So yes, you're right, Mr. Rao, and that's absolutely correct. So being judicious while being productive mindset is so important. So judicious in appraising for your performance, which means if you're performing, we give you an appraisal, we give you an increment, we encourage you, and we have a good sense of judgment for potential candidates who are future leaders. Isn't that amazing policy that TCS had? Kudos to TCS to having that policy and providing us a good case study for presenting it to you, because it's always very simple for us to understand the concept and implement it in our lives before we bring it to you. But it's extremely difficult for us to prepare it, to share it with you, because explaining something which we understand is always very complex, and we try to make it very, very simple by bringing a lot of examples, discussing everyday lives, like we discussed about wearing a seat belt is something which you do later, but providing a seat belt was a proactive thought. Similarly, saving soil campaign is something which is proactively started, but taking efforts to save soil and being a part of that campaign is again productive mindset, and all this requires a good sense of judgment. Not everybody is wise. Not everybody has a good sense of judgment. Not everybody can correlate to what is required in the future. Now, having said that, the policy of TCS, it brings me to a very good example, being from a manufacturing industry. So there was one very good supervisor, and he was working fantastic, and he was managing the section while he was also motivating the other people in his section to get trained. He was also motivating and helping the shift in charge in the manufacturing segment to do his work. So what the management decided, or what the HR decided, is they did not appraise him, but they actually promoted him. Now what happened is, the guy was fantastic as a supervisor because he was able to do his job. He was able to deliver his job. The minute they promoted him to become a shift in charge, he had the task only to delegate and manage the people. Now, what happened? He was not very good in delegating, he was more good in executing. And he started doing everything by himself, resulting in disaster. Shift, the production went up and down. People started getting confused because they were not able to understand what are they supposed to do, because he was like, oh, I'll do this. Oh, wait, I'm coming here. Oh, I will do this. And what happened? It resulted in a disaster. Now, that was not a very judicious planning done by the management there to appraise him and bring him to a level where he was, given a duty of a shift in charge. So rather than appraise, I would say promote, as Bharti rightly said, that they promoted him. Now, remember, you promote a potential. Don't promote a performer, because the minute you promote a performer, it is difficult. Now it's become a tongue twister for me, Bharti, right there. It's actually become a tongue twister there, and I'm actually enjoying promote, performer, potential, appraise. So yeah, I'm mixing the words anyway, but that's a very nice policy, and I'm sure we discussed it and we learned about it and we thought that we should share it. So yes, that's one. Coming to next point, what can you do to be judicious? Simple steps. Identify what you want to do, what are your goals, what are your focus goals, or what do you want to achieve. Second, identify what can you adopt, what is already available, or what can you adopt from other areas. Then go to the next point and identify what are the tasks that you need to complete so that you can be judicious enough, be proactive in completing or writing down the task, and be effective enough to complete them during the time. Always remember that unless and until you have a goal, you know what you want to achieve or adopt, and you actually execute the task, things become very, very difficult. Let me give you one more example to emphasize on all these 3 points. There's a person whose age was around 38, and he thought, you know what, this is a time now that I've got wife, I've got kids, I've got all the responsibilities. I should get my life insurance done, I should get my medical insurance done, and I should start my investment plan, I should start my SIP. And he was very, very focused. He adopted and did a research about what he wants to do and how he wants to do, what are the SIPs he wants to invest in, and what term plan he wants to do. And while he was researching, he also was aware that the term plan might take 3, 6, or 1 year, depending upon which policy he is taking, to become effective. So he said, yes, I should do it right now. This is the right age. I've reached the right age. And he thought he had a productive mindset, which I don't disagree to. Yes, he was having a productive mindset. He has his focused goals. But you know what? Destiny had something else planned for him. A very dear friend recently died at the similar situation at the age of 38, just due to low BP. He was having an ultimate productive mindset that he had this focused goals and he wanted to do it, but he died. So what was missing is a proactive approach. What could have he done? Let's hear it from Bhati. Over to you, Bhati.
I know it's really difficult to talk about a friend who just passed away. Yes, he was very productive. He had that productive mindset. He lacked was the proactive approach. Right from the day one, when you get your first check, when you get your first salary, when you get your first income, you start your planning, you start your investments, you start be very judicious about where do you want to invest, how do you want to do it. Doesn't matter if it's a small amount, but you start right from there and be proactive in how you are putting these eggs in different baskets. When you would have done this, probably only being productive would have taken you to some place, would have taken you to a particular milestone to achieve. Being proactive would have given you that thrush to take you in the right direction with the right speed, with the right momentum. What also, when you say being proactive, taking care of proactively taking care of the health aspect, proactively taking care of the other areas that are important to you, having that relaxed fun time with yourself, with your loved ones, are equally important, because when you are with your loved ones, when you are with yourself, when you are enjoying your life, there are certain chemicals that you are releasing. And that is important for your metabolism. That is important
Yep.
for your entire body's uh, health. That is really important. And when those chemicals are not being produced, are not being released, the cell generation becomes stagnant. So even though you are growing by age, the time is passing by. You think that you are successful and you are really working and progressing, but in reality, it is not happening. It is stagnant at some point. And that's what is important to understand, that you need to be proactive in your every area that you have, along being productive. Why you are doing this? Because you want to be productive in every area, and that's what would have been the best possible way. Yes, sir.
Bhati, we discussed about how judicious is important, or what is judicious, why it is important. Can you tell me an example where we can actually combine the game that we all love, cricket,
Oh
and
yes.
judicious planning? Now, you need to dig up an example and tell me, how can someone be proactive in cricket? Because cricket is a game on field, cricket is a game of action, and cricket is something we all love. So I've thrown a googly to you. Now it's your time to hit the ball.
So this was the year 2007, 2020 World Cup, and that was the last over that was left. It was nail-biting match, and the captain, the Indian cricket team's captain, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, decided to send a bowler, Joginder Sharma, to bowl the last over. Now, when this happened, everybody, like even the commentators, the spectators, the audience, everybody started criticizing that why this kind of a decision. I mean, Joginder Sharma is a very unconventional, a slow, medium slow bowler, like a newcomer, has not shown much great results. Then why that very important critical last over has been given to him? And when he did that, we actually won that World Cup, and we brought that cup back to India. So if I look at that example, what our captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni did as a leader, his proactive approach started not on the field but before that, when the net practices was happening, when he was being with the team, they were practicing it day in day out. They were also being together. He started identifying each and every team member who has the right skills. Where is my trump card? How can I utilize this particular bowler or this batsman? So he kept on doing this proactively and started identifying, noticing everything that he could possibly do for each team member. What he did on the field, the judicious decision of sending Joginder Sharma on for the last over, was his productive mindset. On the field, he showed that productive mindset because he was absolutely focused on the cup. He did not bother about pleasing the team members or pleasing the critics or pleasing the anybody. But what he focused was only to get the cup. And that's why the judicious decision that he took was to send Joginder for the last over. That was the productive mindset that he showcased on the field. And that's where, if we have to help you understand, proactive approach happens before the field, before you actually start taking actions, you actually start taking decisions. That's where everything happens, is your proactive approach. On the field, what you do when you take decisions, your judicious decisions, your actions, is the productive mindset, because that is going to take you to the focus goal. And you want to go in that direction. And that's what the productive mindset is about. Yes, Sagar.
Bang on. You hit a sixer on a googly. That's absolutely right, Bharti. He actually nailed the judicious decision making on the field. But as you rightly said, proactive approach started when the net practice was done and the productive mindset was built. You know how? The focus goal which Dhoni had was very clear. I want to win the World Cup and not please people. If he was a people pleaser, he would have given it to one of the best players in the team and please everyone. And but he was ready to take the risk. He was ready to take the judicious decision, a judgmental decision about using his trump card. And you know what he said to Joginder before he was just about to bowl? And that is not being said by me. That was being told by Joginder when he shared his sentiments with Hindustan Times. The words are actually quote unquote, I'll read it for you. Don't think about the runs that they need. Think about what you are going to bowl. If you get hit, don't overthink. Just concentrate on the next ball. Whatever is the result, be confident you have my support. Now, that is a leader. That is a leader on the field who tells, don't worry about whatever happens. Be confident you have my support. Now, imagine our leaders telling this to the teammates or to the team members and letting them free. What kind of amazing results would the team bring in? Because when you're confident on someone, when you know their skills, and when you have a very, very focused goal that I want to win the World Cup, I want to win this project, I want to deliver the best customer service, and you tell it to the team, go on, boys, I'm there for you.
I mean,
That's
Sagar,
exactly, yeah, go on, Vati, tell me.
I'm getting goosebumps right now when you're saying this, because if that's the power that any team member will receive, I'm 200% sure that the team member will go out, all out, to
Yes,
perform and showcase that this is what the potential I have, because that's what
absolutely.
is the backing that's needed by the leaders.
Bang on, absolutely, that's what you need. So not only on the field when you have to play a cricket match, but the field of corporate culture, the field of corporate war, the field of corporate marketing, the field of corporate servicing, and even the field of even a family owned business where your son, your colleague, your employee is going out to do something. Tell him, don't worry about what happens. We get the order or we don't get the order. Just perform your best, give out your best presentation, whatever the result is. You have my support. Go. Do you think that employee will ever lose confidence? He will be bursting out confidence. He will be full of positive energy. His aura would be full of so much of positivity and so much of light that he would definitely charm the people and get the results what is desired, what is focused. That's exactly what Dhoni did. So he started proactively thinking about a strategy, being judicious off the field when he was actually net practicing with the team. but kept the focus goal of winning the World Cup, the T20 World Cup, and used the trump card right at the brick of the moment or the heat of the moment when it was the last over. All the bowlers were consumed. The batsmen were not aware of this trump card coming in and throwing amazing balls to them, and we win. So that's judicious, my friend. Off the field, proactive. Think, visualize, and capture. On the field, be focused on what your goal is and act judiciously to take the right decisions. That's absolutely what we want all of you to do, because that will help you to achieve sense of fulfillment, happiness, and gratitude, leading to the integrated life. That's what we want for all of you. Live an integrated life, live a life which is full of happiness, gratitude, sense of fulfillment. Move regret and guilt from your life. Don't worry about pleasing people. Don't worry about balancing work and life every day. That's a juggle, and jugglers always are juggling. You will always keep juggling the work and life balance. Forget about all that. Integrate everything, but be judicious in whatever you do. That brings us to a very, very important point. How about hiring process, Bharti? Can there be judicious application there? Is there any room for being judicious in recruitment? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. You can be judicious in recruitments, in hiring process as well. And I had witnessed a very few or other rare companies, they do so. And I remember there was one such company, an IT company. The I'll tell you what the proactive approach they did. The recruitment process, the entire team of recruitments, the head of the recruitments, what he did was they went out of their way to hire some unique skills that was a part of the vision, the part of what the company's stakeholders and the head of the companies, what they have envisaged for that year and the subsequent years. So this year, what the head of the recruitments decided to go for some unique skills hiring. When they hired it, of course there were questions like, why did you hire? We don't need that skills right now. We don't have projects coming up for this. It will be a waste of time. It will be a waste of money. And what are we going to do with that person? And despite of those questionings, they went ahead in hiring a couple of them. They had a very unique skills in IT, and they were given some task, and they were still being occupied, but yes, not with the unique skills. After a few months, they received a project, and that project required that unique skill. And because they had the resource, they had the person who was completely skilled to do that project, complete it, and deliver what the client wanted. They took that project right away and they started working on it. Now, here's what the project manager did. Immediately, what he did was he gave the entire lead of the project to the person who had that unique skills, and he said, "You're
Why
going to
did he
lead
did that?
us." So,
Sorry,
why
I'm
he
just interrupting because I wanted to have that break and let us mull over it. Why did HR
yeah.
acted proactive and did that thing? So what was judicious in that?
So the judicious part was when they had their strategic meetings, and when the company owners and the stakeholders they gave a vision of how they want this company to take forward, and what is coming as a forecasting of some of the IT projects. So they did their forecasting. They had the strategic meeting, and the whole outcome of that meeting was that they required certain skill set, they required certain
For the
uh,
future.
for the future,
Okay.
without even taking into account whether they are having the project at that moment or not, but it was
Now I
everything for the
know
future.
I know which company you're talking about. Can I share something more into it?
Yes, yeah, please add.
Okay, lovely. So that's a company based out of US. We are not taking names because of any non-disclosure thing that we might get into. So one thing I can share with people, and they can always Google it and research about it, the company has already released a paper, a document, a research, that because of that hiring, they were able to save $5,000 per hire per year during that stipulated time, which resulted into 7 billion saving just by judicious recruitment. But the story doesn't end there. What Bharti told us was how the HR was proactive in absorbing the requirements, the goals, and the tasks that he identified given by the vision in the management. What Bharti wanted to share, and I took over, is I'm going to share what the managers did after the hiring was done. So it was after 2.5 years that the hiring was done, the project was delivered, and the project lead was identified by the management, let's say person Ram or person ABC, whichever we want to name. 2.5 years later, the manager saw that the person Ram is definitely a good leader and he has all the skills and everything. But Mr. Tom, who was hired, had a very unique skill of blockchain. I'm sure you're getting a hint what I'm talking about now. So he had a very good hold on the blockchain, and immediately he was made the champion for the project. Now the lead here gets offended, and the manager goes and tells him, "Hey, don't worry. You still lead the project, but the champion is this guy because he knows the best and he has a skill set to deliver this project." Now that was being having a productive mindset. That was being having a productive mindset of focusing on the goals of achieving and delivering the project to the customer and delivering the best quality to the customer, not again pleasing people, pleasing politics, or just getting engaged in saying yes to everything. No, the manager selected the right guy. Now, having said that, imagine the amount of saving that they've done. They've published a paper, so it's not something that I'm making up out of my mind, of $5,000 per year per hire saved. That those are facts that we can share, that we can showcase, and if you Google it, you will find out what we are talking about. So that is so much important when you're talking about being judicious. So just to give a recap of what we talked till now for the people who might have joined us now, we talked about how we can be judicious, being proactive off the field, in our planning, being prepared, being aware, and how we can be productive on the field with the focused goal and having an approach in mind. So we talked about an area where it is save water, save soil, which Bharti said as Sadguru. We talked about wearing a seat belt and providing a seat belt. We talked about the policy of TCS, which is appraise the performance and promote the
Potential.
potential. I still have to figure that out. And that is a TCS policy. Then we talked about MS Dhoni, where I threw the googly to Bharti and she actually hit a sixer on that. And how we won the World Cup, how the bowling was changed, how the trump card was given forward. We talked about how recruitment and being judicious can help us doing that. What more do you want to understand the importance of judicious? I'm sure you now have started even evaluating what are the things that you need to plan judiciously in your life. Forget about the age right now. Be proactive today. Let's think about the future. Whatever is bygone is bygone. We can't change it, but we can change things now. So that is a brilliant example. Again, Bharti talking about this, and we have Mr. Rao talking about growth and productive mindset. Mr. Rao, growth mindset talks only about growth. When we talk about productive mindset, it's a mixture of efficiency, effectiveness, and emotions, because a human mind is full of emotions. Growth mindset is very thin line between a growth mindset and productive mindset, which we have explained earlier. So I'm not saying they both are completely different, they're both aligned, but productive mindset is more focused towards your goal, aligning and utilizing the available resources, which includes not only time, money, manpower, but also a very delicate emotion aspect. The emotional aspect is very important. So I'm sure that helps you to understand it. So while we come to the last part of the show, where we talk about many other things, we still have one more example. Can I take the
I
lead on
want,
that, Bharti? Or you
yes,
want to take it?
no, no, no. That's where I wanted you, I wanted to request you to share your story about the decision that you made to go to London.
Oh, I
And
was talking about text planning. Okay, you want me to talk about that?
yes,
Okay,
I want you to
fair
talk
enough.
about that because I have read the entire chapter in your book, The Crossroads of Life. So, and it is very interesting. It is important for every one of us to understand what made you to decide to go to London. So, please share that story with us.
Sure, very well. Thank you. But I leave the half part of it for you to analyze because I'm sure
Okay,
being a proactivity queen, you would help me to do that. So
sure.
I would not spell the secret beans which are your bag. Okay. Ah, you're making me go back in those moments. Fair enough. Okay, so what Bharti is talking about is my first book, At the Crossroads of Life, where I've shared certain decisions, certain things that I have been in my life, done in my life, and one of that decision was going to London. So what happened is on 26th of July 2005, we had floods where the house was filled with around 6.57 feet water approximately. There's nothing left on the house except for the roof, and I felt that I had completed my engineering, and I felt that if I continue living like this, it'll be a big struggle. So I wanted to earn and learn, and I wanted to do an MBA. Now, that was a dream that I had pursued, or you call it as my desire or my focused goal that I was very focused about, that I want to do an MBA. Now, doing an MBA in India is a costly affair. I'm sure you all know because you all have seen the expenses that comes out. And coming from a family where I need to earn, doing an MBA was a dream if I don't earn parallelly. So I decided I'll go abroad and do my MBA. Where will I go? No idea. But I will go abroad because I learned one thing, that if you're in abroad, you can learn and earn at the same time. You have opportunities to earn in whatever currency or whatever country you are, and you also get certain work permits. You also get certain extended visas after you study. So I started, and I was being very focused, and I started doing the research that was required, and was very clear in my mind that I want to do it. And I had a very productive mindset. Even while I was working the night shift, or I would do anything, I was very clear on my mind and focused that I want to go and study in London. And good news is, yes, I went to London, I studied in Middlesex, and I completed my masters. But what was the role of being judicious, or where was the proactive approach that helped me to achieve that? I leave it to Bharti to explain.
So, because I've read the chapter and I know Sagar so much, so very well, what he did during this time, or I would say before even taking a decision to go to London, or why London for that matter, for the entire 2 years, he did that extensive research on the courses, the country, the lifestyle, or what spending, the cost of living versus the spending, everything he actually did. Now that's what the proactive approach that he adapted in before even deciding which country or which course from where he would want to do. He did all his research in that area, and that made him so sure and take a decision, which was a judicious decision, to go to London and study and work at the same time. Now, when he went there and he started studying, he was productive in his mind, in his approach to earn, to find out ways and means to sustain himself, to fetch a good sustainable amount. At the same time, also study, learn, and be very clear and focused in what exactly he wanted from his life. And that's what he did. Was it easy? Not at all. He had his own shares of challenges, struggles, and so many things. I must urge each one of you to go and read that book. You will come closer to this guy who's Sagar Amlani. You will really come closer to him because every chapter that he has mentioned in that book, His every learning that he has poured, his entire life nuggets that he has shared in that book really talks about how productive mindset he had at that point of time as well, and what is the proactive approach that he had that actually led him and brought him to this point where he is right now. And that is why I wanted him to share this story, that what made him decide to go to London and do what he did there. Yes,
Thank you
Sadhguru.
so much, Bharti. Yeah, absolutely. That was like reliving those moments. And
Yeah.
life is very unpredictable, and you have to be aware, you have to be clear, you have to be focused on what you want and enjoy what comes to you. Now, coming to the most important thing, financial planning, tax planning. Even judicious planning helps you there. Being judicious helps you there and helps you live an integrated life. Very, very simple. Have a productive mindset, set a focused goal. Remember how you can be judicious, include in your plan, identify your goal, right? We have Bharati already shared the things. Let me pull it out from the chat and we can have it right here. So, identify your focus goals, adapt from other areas that you have, or adapt it from your friends, or ask your friends for the advice. Identify what task you need to complete, be proactive in that and be productive in that. So it's a balance. And then be proactive in identifying the list and be proactive in completing it, right? So you need to have those four elements right here on the screen. But at the same time, when it comes to text planning, rather than planning it in February or in March, it's September today. Why don't you start your tax planning today? Let us help you be judicious in your tax planning. Think about how much are you going to earn for the whole year? What is your salary? What kind of planning you need? If you're going to get married very soon, maybe down the line, think about what kind of savings you might need for your wife, for your marriage, for your kids. Start a SIP as low as 500. Remember, neither me or Bharti are mutual fund agents or LIC agents. So we are not selling you something. We're just telling you to be judicious enough to plan your life so that you don't get stressed when you actually need the money. But you start planning today. Be very, very wise in taking advice from people who are experts. Start your SIP, start your mutual fund, start your savings, start your term plan, and think about what you need in the future. That is something that you would need as being judicious for your own planning, for your own life, for your own family. And that includes both being proactive, like Bharti says, that be proactive in thinking what you want, in identifying what your goals are, and have a productive mindset to execute those things on the field. So if you have decided as proactive approach that you want to have this much saving, and you have to be productive enough to go from 500 where you start as an initial beginning to maybe 1,000, 10,000, 15,000 till you earn more and more. So keep that planning in your mind, like it's being said by me and Bharti, that being judicious, having a good sense of judgment will always lead you to have a very stress-free life and will be loaded with sense of fulfillment, happiness, and gratitude. Having said that, I would now give it again to Bharti to talk about the last few points. If people want to implement being judicious, what are the ways they can do? Or if something that you want to share about being proactive or some area that we have left or not discussed, please feel free to share.
So the most easiest way is you need to go to the website, which is www.theintegratedlife.co.in, and on the right side, on the top, you will look at when you press the click, you will see all the episodes till today. You go to the 10th episode, which talks about judicious, and in that episode you will see the checklist, you will see where you need to put your details, and you can download the PDF. Every episode has that checklist or the PDF, which is absolutely made after a lot of thinking, a lot of brainstorming between both of us. And we create this kind of checklist or a PDF for each episode so that when you are going through the episode, you you get to some thoughts, you get to thinking, you get to understand, you get to reflect on what you have been doing in your life and how do you want to take it forward. Why do you want to do it? Because you want to live an integrated life. You want that sense of fulfillment, you want that happiness in your life, you want to be grateful to everything and everybody. So when you download that PDF, it will give you some reflective questions. It will give you some reflective statements. It will really put you into the spot where you are alone with yourself, reflecting on, analyzing on what am I doing and how do I want to take it forward. And that's where all the episodes are there on that website. Go to the www.theintegratedlife.co.in. Look at all the episodes. If you have missed any of the episode, you have the episodes on the website. You just need to go to that episode, click and watch it, and then take the checklist and reflect on what do you want to do. And that is what we all want. We are also available on LinkedIn. We are there for you. Just one email and we will be there. So we have our email addresses on the website as well. It is sagar@sagarramlani.com, bharti@bhartinaik.com. Simply send us an email describing whatever you want to share, whether you have some questions, whether you have some doubts, any situations that you come across, any examples that you have, share it with us, and we are very happy to respond to you. And trust us, there have been so many emails and messages that we receive every week once the episode gets over. We are bombarded on our inboxes, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, many a times on our WhatsApp because we put it on WhatsApp status as well. So we really want you all to live that integrated life. Because why doing all this hustle and bustle when we don't have that fulfillment, when we don't have that happiness, when we are not grateful of anything? So let's be very focused on living that integrated life with all the elements that we have in our life. And that's the reason go to that website and watch out those episodes. Look for that PDF for the 10th episode and download it, and you will have everything that you need.
Bang
Yes,
on,
Sagar.
Bharti. Absolutely. And all this is absolutely free with no strings attached.
Yep.
There's nothing that we are pitching. There's nothing that we are trying to, loop into. It's absolutely free. Why are we doing this? Because it gives us a sense of fulfillment that we are actually adding value to your life, adding value to what you do, and adding value to the whole society and the universe. And that's our gratitude. And that's our giveaway as a proactivity coach and a productivity explorer. Having said that, what Bharti said, that we always update our status. So that's something that I want to close it on. And remember that we only regret the chances that we did not take and the guilt we carry for the decisions we delayed to make. So don't worry, live an integrated life. Don't have any regrets, don't have any guilts. Just enjoy being judicious, being proactive, having the productive mindset, and live a life of fulfillment, live a life of full of gratitude, happiness, and let's share the fun and joy of everything that we have and let everyone around us feel that energy and feel happiness around us. So, with that, closing on this show, thank you very much for joining us for yet another episode of The Integrated Life. Next Tuesday, same time, same place, either it be LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, we will be there with you and bringing you one more element to live the integrated life.
So see you next
Goodbye.
Tuesday, 9 p.m., and we will be there with yet another episode of the Integrated Life Show. Till then, have a fantastic time with your loved ones. Stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy your life. Take care.